In this lecture, you're going to learn how to put custom annotations on map using SwiftUI. So let's go ahead and get started. In order to put annotations, there are a couple of different things we need to do. We need to use the map view control, or the view, which is contained in the MapKit module. So let's go ahead and import MapKit first. Next, we will need to create some sort of a region. That region will be in focused, and that is something that our map will display. So I'm going to go ahead and create a region where the latitude and longitudes are pointing to Fisherman Wharf in San Francisco. Next, I can use the map control. Map. You can see that it contains a lot of different overload functions. Let's start with using the first one, which is just taking coordinate region, and we can pass in the region that we just created earlier. If I go ahead and run the application, you will see that it immediately displays the map, and it is focused on Fisherman Wharf. You can change these values to accommodate different zoom in factor, or the latitude meters and longitude meters. So if you put these values to be a little bit lower, like 10, you will be a little bit more zoomed in to the location, as you can see. Right now, I'm just going to put it 5,000 because I also do want to put some annotations in there, and that will allow me to see all the different annotations. In order to create the annotation, the first thing we need to do is to create some sort of a structure that can represent the annotation. So I'm going to go ahead and create a structure called place that will consist of a name and also coordinate, which is of type CL location coordinate 2D. In order to display the places as annotation, we also must conform to identifiable, which means that we have to implement the ID property. And for now, I'm just going to put the ID property to be initialized with a unique UUID. Next, we need to create some custom annotations, meaning annotations that we can display on the screen. I'm going to use an array called annotations. And you can see that we're using our place structure, providing the name and the coordinate. These coordinates are all random, meaning there will be some point of interest near Fisherman Wharf. Now let's go ahead and see that how we can display these annotations. Map, coordinate region with annotations. The first one is going to remain the same, which is simply the regions. Annotation items is of type random access collection, which in this case is annotations. And the annotation content will be the actual content that we want to display. So over here, we're going to get the place annotation. And it's up to us whatever we want to return. We can return a map pin, map marker, or a map annotation. Let's start with map pin and pass in the coordinates. Let's go ahead and build it and resume the app, and we're able to see the map pins being displayed. And this is all great, but maybe we don't want the map pins to look like pins, or the annotations to look like pins. Maybe we want it to be looking like something else. And that is where you can replace the map pin with a map annotation, provide a coordinate system, which is place.coordinate, and the content, which is the actual view. So now it is up to you whatever type of view you want to return. I'm going to go ahead and create the edge stack. I'm going to also add an image, which will have a system name of heart.fill, but you can obviously use anything you want. You can already see that our annotations on the right-hand side are now displayed as a heart. Let's go ahead and change the foreground color of the heart to red. Also, we will add a text control, and it would be nice if we can add some sort of a rating with a particular fixed size. Now, for the generating the rating, we're going to go ahead and create random ratings. So for that, I'm going to create a separate property called rating that is going to return me a string which will only have the 1 decimal value of the rating. Now I can use the rating over here. It will all be random, so every time you run this, every time you basically move, the rating is going to change. Next, we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of padding to our edge stack. Keeping in mind that edge stack doesn't really have any background color. So let's go ahead and add the background color also. We will go with color.white. Oops, not for padding. Here we go, color.white. Next, we will also go ahead and clip the shape, and we will create it as a rounded rectangle. You can use any corner radius that you want. We're just going to use the default one, which in this case is 25, and continuous. If I go ahead and zoom in a little bit, it's looking good, but maybe we can add some sort of a indication that that it is a pin. For that, there are many different ways of doing that. I'm just gonna go over and add an overlay. Overlay comes in many different shape or form. So let's go ahead and try to use one of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and use overlay with the alignment also. And for the overlay, I'm going to use the image. System name, we will use the arrow triangle dot left dot fill. Now, the arrow triangle left, as you can see, is appearing in black, and it's also pointing to the left because it's a left triangle. We can go ahead and create a rotation effect and move it in a different direction. So let's go ahead and move it in the degrees of 270. So now it's pointing down. We will also go ahead and make sure that the color of that particular image and overlay is white. So now it's not appearing. And we can also set the offset so that it's a little bit below. Let's go ahead and see what's going on now. Okay, so you can see that it's still too below, and maybe that's why it is not appearing. So we need to make sure that it appears. And also alignment, we have to actually set it to bottom, so that might fix our problem. There we go. I think you can see it a little bit. If I go ahead and zoom in, you will be able to see a little bit more. There we go. So now you can see right there, it actually looks nice because all of them have this pointy thing, which is saying that it is attached to that particular location. So now we have created our own pin using the map provided in SwiftUI. If you like this video and want to support my channel, then the best way would be to check out my courses on Udemy. You can see I have a lot of different courses on Udemy, including the Async and Await course, which just got released a couple of weeks ago. I also have courses on SwiftUI, MVVM design pattern, mastering RX Swift, Swift for intermediate developers, core data also, and a lot more courses. So check out my courses. You can find all the links for the courses right there in the YouTube description. Please use those links because if you use those links, I get to keep a little bit more higher revenue. Thank you so much for your continuous support.